Got a new microphone. Can you tell? This is the thing about podcasts. Like, people who make podcasts think people care more about their podcast than they actually do. It's like on YouTube videos when people post, like, update video. I'm now moving to a one video every... It's like no one cares. Everyone thinks he cares. Because it's like my life revolves around this podcast and no one else's life revolves around this podcast.
I'm legitimately sick of update videos. They're just so stupid and so pointless.
Yeah, I know.
It's like 90% of them are just like, sorry for making no videos, then it just stops. It's like, it's not even an update, it's just a statement.
Because it's just a statement, it only takes like a few seconds to announce. You could at least like say that at the start of your next video if you really want to say it.
Yeah.
But like the point of the channel is like, I don't know, like for whatever channel you make, like a tech channel, would make reviews of tech or whatever, and like update videos about it is just no one cares.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, I heard somebody say something once. It was like, never at the start of a video or any time at all just say sorry for making no videos, because it makes your channel just look so unprofessional.
Yeah, it kind of does, actually.
Yeah.
If you just, like, let people go, oh, you haven't been making videos, it's like people actually care, instead of you have to being sorry to them.
You know what other type of videos we should just ban? When people upload their new intro, it's like XY Cuba's new intro, and it's this 10-second video.
Yeah, I saw one the other day, which was like, oh, I'm not using this intro for a while. It's like, then why did you create it in the first place?
Moral of this is no one cares about you as much as you think they do. Welcome to the Cubing Show.
Brad has a video on his channel called Cubing Intro Rant. And
yes.
I didn't ever do this, but I was considering just like making an intro which has everything that Brad decides to like dissuade in that video. So it's like this 30-second dubstep, like cars, review, solves, unboxing. So it's like, no.
Yeah. Luca the Boss did something like that. Luca the Boss on YouTube, which has 6 dislikes. It's kind of funny because no one gets the joke.
Oh, God.
Someone said in the comments, I wouldn't be paid to have this intro. It's like, geez, man, don't you get the joke?
That's so funny.
Talked about the Yuxin timer last time. The new ogre-looking timer that is not very good-looking at all and kind of unpractical. This is from Hamface Man on the Speed Solving forums. He says, on the topic of the Yuxin timer having stacking functionalities, keep in mind it's not primarily a cube company, it being Yuxin. It's a toy company that branched out into speed cubes. It also produces cups for stacking, which from what I've heard are rather popular.
Define rather popular, because I'm pretty sure nobody actually like uses Yuxin cups. Like 90% of stacking videos I see, people are using speed stack cups.
Oh yeah,
like...
I'm not going to say anything on that because I know nothing about speed stacks apart from the fact that they exist. So I can't.
For all you stackers out there, are there like cups that are better than others? Like Moyu Oolong is better than Rubik's Brand. Is there like the Oolong cup?
What makes a cup better than another apart from like, I guess, material it's made out of, how hard the plastic is, I don't know. How big they are.
People put, like, holes in the bottom of the cup, and it helps go faster or something. I'm not sure, though.
According to Hamface Man, they do make cups for stacking, which would indeed explain why there are stacking-like features on the Yuxin timer. Because although we know Yuxin as a cube company, they do make speed stacks as well.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Angus Cos on YouTube, also relating to the Yuxin timer, we were talking about the extra buttons on the Yuxin timer. So there was 4 buttons. There's the on button, the reset button, and the save button, and the options button. He said, button 3, the save button. After a solve, press the save button, the press on the options button until you get the save type, then hold down the save button. Okay, can we try and figure out what this means? So
you press the save button, then you press the options button.
Until you get the save type.
Yeah, we'll come down with like 323, 333, or whatever the stack things are. And then you press the save button. It's same on StackMat, I believe.
He also says, button 4, the options button. All the options button is used for is displaying saves. So I guess if you save a solve, you press the options button and you can see where your save solves are. I don't know if options is the best word for that. Options generally implies settings and configurable stuff like that. Stuff that you can change about the timer. Not displaying things that you've saved. Last time we also talked about the best and worst cubes. Our best and worst cubes. of 2015, we all agreed the best cube was the 356. And I said that the worst cube was the Dian Pyraminx. And I feel like I need to clarify that because while the Dian Pyraminx wasn't necessarily an objectively bad cube, like, if somebody felt that cube, they wouldn't think...
It's not a QJ. It's no QJ.
Yeah, it's no QJ. Is anything a QJ, really? But, like the Star Wars prequels, which we'll get to later in our Star Wars section...
Oh my god, I was actually going to use exactly the same analogy.
I know.
Phantom Menacing, yes.
Dian has produced a bunch of better cubes before. So, like, our standards for the cubes that Dian releases are much higher than what this cube was. And also with the Moyu Pyraminx. The Dian Pyraminx may not be the worst cube in absolute terms. In relative terms, it is a very disappointing cube because of all the hype and how Dian hadn't released a cube in X number of months, years, whatever. And then this came out and it was kind of mediocre.
I guess people just had, like, high expectations for it.
Yeah.
I like that cube.
You also like Chi, so you obviously don't know what good cubes are.
Also, one of my favourite cubes of all time is the Shengshao Aurora.
Oh my god, Reese. What is wrong
it's
with...
actually decent.
Were you dropped as a child? Like, do you have proper human hands?
So smooth, though.
Maybe he's just a really accurate turner.
Oh no, I'm terrible at turning.
New cubes.
Gans wants more money.
Gans released the 356 Air, as it's known. The link that I've included here is all in an Asian language that I cannot understand. I'm assuming some variation of Mandarin. They have also released... The name here is the Gans 356S V2. Yes.
I was just having a look at the Gans 356 Air link, and I can't understand any of it, but they do have a picture, and it's of the Rubik's Cube on a scale, and it says the number 59.4, I think it says. So I'm assuming it's meant to be really light, but...
I guess that's where the air comes from.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll like that in a cube, like, because I like cubes that are sort of heavy and they have momentum.
My cubes are all tight, slow, and gummy. That's how I like them.
I kind of see the appeal of a light cube, like with the Guanlong that came out a couple months ago. I kind of like the light feel of that cube, but I don't like it for other reasons. Mainly it's feel, because it kind of feels a bit cheap.
The Guanlong?
Yeah.
That's like a year old.
Sorry, I can't. I don't know. Time flies when you're having
Brad, you're
fun.
out of the
or something.
podcast for making silly mistakes.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be for a specific group of people in the cubing community.
The air.
I used a Guanlong for a long time.
They're taking a lot of these names out of Apple's handbook here. 356S,
Yeah, I know.
356 Air. It's like, just call them a MacBook.
But when I saw the Gans 356 Air, the first thing I thought of was an iPad Air.
Yeah.
Gansbook Pro with a Retina display.
Force touch trackpad. Unapologetically plastic.
Unapologetically plastic.
So these new Gans cubes have come out. Back on topic. You can order the 356S. The Gans 356S takes after the original 356. In it's having 3 different versions of the cube: the standard version, the advanced version, and the master version.
Yeah. Does it mean that I can't be a master without the master version?
That's exactly what it means, Reese. You need to get the master edition.
It's like when you're training to become a Jedi, they eventually give you a master cube and you become a master.
Oh, hang on. Is there a Gans 356S and a Gans 356S V2?
I don't want to know.
Hang on, no, I think this is what happens. I think we've just had a revelation here. Hang on. 356S V2, 356S. Yep.
If these aren't drastically different, that is so cringe.
Yeah.
Because like, if they made a mistake in the original 356S and just made a V2...
What can you even improve upon on the 356? Like, what was there? Is there a flaw in the 356 that you're like, oh, we need to make a new cube to fix that? Like, what's the problem? What is the thing that everyone's complaining about with the 356?
It caught a little bit, a tiny little bit. But honestly,
yeah, I guess you could
not really.
improve corner cutting. Here's what it says: difference between 356S and 356S V2. Improved groove track design. The groove track design is modified to be narrower and shallower so that the cube is more stable and controllable. Was anyone having problems with pops with their 356? Does it really need more stability?
No, nobody had trouble with pops. I did find it a little bit flimsy though, but not too much. It was a fairly solid cube.
So there's the standard, advanced, and master edition. differences include
Yep.
they all have the same speed cube, the same box, the same tutorial. The standard edition has a what's called Gans puzzle regular shade stickers, whereas the advanced and master editions come with half bright, high quality German stickers.
To be honest, it's probably just a gimmick where the high quality quote unquote stickers actually cost less.
It's it is like artificial scarcity.
I hate it when companies say like German made or like Swiss products. Like, I don't care where it's made. If it's good, then it's good. If it's bad, then it's bad.
Master edition comes with a metal adjusting tool, whereas the standard and advanced editions come with a plastic one. Is it worth however much more money you're spending to get the master edition? Probably not, because I mean, how often do you need to use the adjusting tool? Not very often.
Like twice.
How much more functionality are you getting by using a metal one instead of a plastic one? 0 extra functionality. That's how much extra functionality you're getting. I'm trying to find the difference in price here. The standard Gans 356S costs 24 Australian, and the Master 356S costs 32 Australian. Hang on, how much? Try and do a conversion here for the American listeners. That's $17.25 for the standard, and $23 for the Master. So what are you paying? You're getting $8. You're paying $8 more, and you're getting different color stickers, new springs, and a metal adjusting tool. Is it worth it? Would you buy the standard edition or the master edition?
I would buy the standard edition and maybe buy stickers because, like, I like all my sticker shades on my main cubes to all match, like, to be the exact same shade and stuff. Like, that's when I'm bothered to get stickers and replace them. But, like, it's most likely that if you get the master edition with the half bright stickers, it's not going to be, like, exactly what you want. Like, there's some companies that, like, their half bright stickers are just like, well, the yellow's just like neon yellow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll probably just get the standard edition because the only difference that I could see practically would be the stickers.
Buy neither and get 3 thunderclaps.
That's so Reese. That's the most Reese thing that's happened ever. Would you get one of these, Bryce? Like, would you buy this cube?
Most likely not, to be honest.
Because you're happy with your V2?
Yep, pretty much. Like, unless it's groundbreaking and it's like an amazing cube, which I highly doubt, then I'm most likely not going to get it.
I would like to see some more 6x6s.
Again, another very Reese thing. Of course, you'd like. Hang on. There's like how many 6x6s are there? There's the Shengshao one.
There's like
Moyu one.
The Shengshao, Moyu, QJ had one at one point. V Cube, probably Lan, maybe, I don't know. Nobody cares about 6x6, sadly.
Okay, now we've just spent like 20 minutes on the 356, so now we need to blast through these new cubes. Weilong GTS, new Moyu cube that's come out based off the Weilong. I have a poster here with the designer of the cube on it, the Weilong GTS, and also Lucas Eder. So there's the Weilong GTS. Also, another Moyu cube called the Bo Chuang GT, which is a 5x5. This is on a Facebook post that Moyu made. They said, because of the new design conception, we decided not to use Ao Chang GTS, changing the name to Bo Chuang GT. Bo Chuang.
Only thing I really want to say about this is just stop making 5x5s. 5x5s are like 3x3s now. Like, how many 5x5s did we have last year? We had the Ao Chuang, the Hua Chuang, the Yuxin, the Cyclone Boys.
Yeah. And the V-Cube,
It's
right?
Like, oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, but I feel like 5x5 is coming like the new 3x3 or something. Everybody wants to make 5x5 now for some reason.
You want them to make 6x6s instead, right?
Yes, please.
Put all of your manufacturing efforts into 6x6.
Yep.
It's got to be a massive pain in the to make a 6x6. Because it's like, it's the perfect combination of being small so that it's doable. It's kind of easy to design, but also it's an even numbered cube, so it's a massive pain in the
Yeah, I've reassembled a Shengshao 6x6 from scratch.
Oh yeah, me too. It took like literally 2 hours. It's just sitting there at my desk.
Yeah, same. Oh, and then I put the whole thing back together, and then it was broken. I can't turn it anymore. Probably the saddest moment of my cubing life.
New 3D renders of the Moyu 15x15 have come out. Not only new 3D renders, the only 3D renders as of yet.
I love this because Moogie's just kind of like bumming everybody off who got a 13x13, and they're just like, well, now you have to buy this one as well because your cube's obsolete.
This the 15x15 looks very complicated. There's a lot of like curved, rigid little pieces going everywhere and massive corners. I would not like to have been the designer of this cube because, oh my god, there's a lot of moving parts here. Mm-hmm. How expensive would this cube be? Because obviously there's a lot of parts in there. 13x13 was $300.
I thought this was be $500.
Yeah, I'm thinking around that as well. I'm thinking $500 is a good estimate for
Australian
how much.
dollars.
But just think about that right now. Just like step back for a moment. You're paying $500,000.
Yeah, I know. $500 is a ridiculous amount of money to spend on a cube. $500, that is a lot of money. That's like half the price of a new phone.
Yeah, I know. You'd be able to get like a okay laptop with that amount of money.
Yeah. Like, if it's so expensive, which we pretty much know. I mean, the minimum limit is $300. It cannot be less than $300. So knowing that it's above that, like, how many people are going to buy a $500 cube?
Rich kids.
Well, according to speedcube.com.au, when I was talking to the owner at one of the competitions, they sell a 13x13 about once a month. So I'd say once every month again.
No, like $500.
Yeah.
They've got to sell less than the 13x13 because.
No, because like people are just gonna rush to whatever's the highest mass-produced puzzle now.
What would compel you guys to buy one? This is like, why would you buy one of these? Why not?
The only real reason that I would buy it, pretty much, is just, I don't know, because it's one of the biggest, or the biggest mass-produced...
Because it's a novelty.
Twisty puzzle. Yeah, the novelty of it.
Yeah.
And just being able to say that you have this puzzle and being able to show people it. Yeah, I couldn't see it to be a practical puzzle to sit down and solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. My friend got a 13x13 for Christmas. And I know when I was talking to him before that, he actually said he didn't really want one, like 100%, because he said he would just like probably leave it in the corner and not solve it that much. So
I can see, like, if you were to get one of those really big cubes, as we just went over the novelty of it, the novelty would wear off after a few days. It's like,
and then you would get really depressed that you've spent a lot of money on a puzzle.
yeah, like after a month of having a 13x13, how many people still solve it frequently? Like after you've done your unboxing on your YouTube channel, hey guys, it's LG Cuba. I've got a 13x13. Wow, isn't it big? Okay, after that, after the initial wow, it's big wears off.
Wait, LG Cuba? Isn't that like the old name of Lockie's channel?
Yes, I did that intentionally. Also out, the Yuxin Super Big Cube. By super big, it's not number of layers. It is instead a 3x3 that is larger than normal. It's 88 millimeters across the dimensions. A normal cube is 56 or 57 millimeters. So this is quite significantly bigger.
Yeah, they were probably bored on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. Again, this is the novelty thing. It's like, oh, I have a big cube! And then after a couple weeks, the big cube novelty kind of wears off.
When I initially saw this, I actually thought it was like a slightly bigger cube to actually be practical for people who have big hands. But no, it's really big. But they should actually do that. They should make like, I don't know, like 60 millimeter cubes or something.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I could just see that working for me, I guess.
Are your hands that big?
No, they're not big, but I think it would be more comfortable to hold a bigger cube. I don't know.
It's 1.54 times bigger, so 1.5 times bigger than your regular cube.
That doesn't sound like a lot when you say it like that, but this goes into the square cube law. Have you heard of the square cube law?
No.
Basically, okay. Imagine you have a cube, Imagine it's 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, this cube, okay? So its surface area is 6 centimeters, and its volume is 1 cubic centimeter. Now imagine you extend each side by 2. You've just doubled the length and the width and the height. The surface area, you've multiplied the surface area by 4, and the volume...
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah.
The volume has been multiplied by 16. So the idea is, even if you extend the sides what seems like only a little bit, practically speaking, it is quite, like, when you would feel this cube, it is bigger than if you just said, oh, it's 1.5 times bigger.
God, this podcast has turned into a math class.
Yeah, I know. The math show with Bryce, Reese, and Brad. This was another discussion, I think, when the mini Aosu came out, the mini Aosu 4x4, it was 60 millimeters instead of 62, and someone said, 2 millimeters, that's nothing. Well, because of the square cube law, it is actually, it's a significant, well, it may not be significant, you might not describe it as significant, but it is definitely a noticeable difference because of the square cube law.
Yeah,
Yep.
like, I can actually notice the difference between 56 and 57 millimeter cubes, and it's not that hard, and I know that I prefer 57 millimeter cubes.
Unapologetically plastic.
U-perms. When you get to the last layer and you have 3 edges you need to move around, do you use MU or RU?
RU for the win.
RU? Bryce, do you use RU or...
MU.
MU, okay.
This is the thing that really, really just annoys me.
Okay.
It's so much faster.
Cubists to do like the R prime, L prime, FB, that one. It's like, no, don't use that one. Learn the RU ones in the first place because they are so much quicker. And like, I have a friend who averages like 17 or 18 seconds on the 3x3 and still uses that algorithm. I'm like, why?
This is going to be my defense of the RU U-perms instead of the MU U-perms. So, what Bryce just said, they're so much quicker. That's true to an extent. Okay? So if you're holding a cube and you say, okay, here's the MU algorithm, here's the RU algorithm, go and practice it for a week and then come back and we'll time it. 9 times out of 10, that man's going to come back and he's going to have done the MU perm faster. The MU U-perm faster. If he can do M turns well, which is another discussion in and of itself, the MU U-perm is going to be almost always faster than the RU perm when done in isolation. However, when you're doing a U-perm in a solve, you're not doing it in isolation, are you? You're doing it after you've just done an OLL or inserted the last pair and got a skip.
And it's super duper easy to cancel into those U-perms.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever seen Felix solve,
exactly.
His like magic last layer, his cancellations into like easy perms and stuff are so flawless.
I know. This is the main reason that you... Well, I mean, it depends how fast you are and about OLL and all that stuff. But as a general rule of thumb, I think if you're in a solve and you're doing OLL before you do a PLL, which you probably are, then the RU perms are faster in that solve because of the reason that most OLLs use the RU perm. RU, like, when you're doing an OLL, they're RU and not MU. Because if you're doing soon, then it's RU, all that. If you're doing anti-soon, if you're doing all of those COLL cases, then your fingers are already in the position to do an RU perm, right? Once you do a soon, you can move very quickly into an RU U-perm. And as Reese said, you can cancel into it if you're so advanced.
Also, I have the even better title for this video. How are you today? I'm so good.
God damn it. God damn... No, that is not the title. I refuse to make that the title. God damn it, Reese. The MU U-perms, they're okay if you're like coming out of an edge OLL case where all the corners are already oriented and you're just doing the edges, so you're just doing an MU perm. Then your fingers, like your ring finger, is already centered on the back of the cube to do the flick double twist MU U perm thing. In that situation, it would be faster. Okay.
I don't have any I don't have any OLLs that end with an M slicer. Oh, actually, yes, I do.
Yeah.
The ones which for most of you are F sexy F prime, U M sexy F prime. Yeah, I used an M algorithm in that one.
Yeah, so in that specific situation where you're ending with an M move and your finger's already in that position, then it is probably faster to use an MU perm. But most of the time, that is not the case. Most of the time, your fingers are in the RU position, and so even though it's a matter of milliseconds, it is faster to use the RU perms.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that. Like when I'm solving, I just finish OLL, I get like a U perm. It takes me a while to readjust my fingers to do the M U perm thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I would agree.
Somebody posted, I use this MU U-perm algorithm. I said, I used to use this alg, but I switched to the RU from back algs. The MU algs may be faster when done on their own, but rarely after OLL are your fingers in the position to do MU. Most OLLs are RUF. Because your hands are already in the RU position, it's easier to transition into RU U-perms from that OLL than to do an MU U-perm, even if the latter is faster independently.
Yeah.
Have we persuaded you, Bryce? Have we persuaded you to use the RU perms?
Probably not, because I'm so used to the MU perms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's only a matter of milliseconds, because you do have... Because once you move your hands to do the MU perm, then it is faster when you execute it. But that time it's taken to readjust your fingers makes it slower, but I don't know, it's only a matter of milliseconds, so I'm probably just not going to worry about it.
All of cubing is a matter of milliseconds, though. Like, everything you do to get faster is a matter of milliseconds. Very few things can you learn that push you forward 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If you're talking about getting fast, once you're sub 20, once you're sub 30, you need to do these tiny little improvements that make yourself faster. There's no big sweeping thing like learning PLL you can learn that will make you like X times faster because there's already such a minute time frame. These little things are the things that add up to make yourselves faster.
Colin Burns, if you remember, did his 11 average of 12 using Fall Glass Layer. And he was like, oh, there's only 3 seconds of difference. And it's like, that's the difference between averaging 8 and averaging 11.
Yeah. 3 seconds is a very large amount of time when it's like a quarter of your whole solve time.
Unapologetically plastic.
As we're recording this, we are about exactly a week, actually, into 2016. I wanted to do a 2015 in review podcast. We go over all the major events of 2015 relating to cubing. I've listed 5 major events that happened in 2015 relating to cubing. Would you like to go over number 1, Bryce?
Of course, we should all know the 5.55 record got broken.
Oh wait, really? It got broken?
Yeah, that was the record for 2 years. It got broken by Colin Burns, who got a 5.25.
Did anyone see Colin coming, though?
I didn't. I think he was going to do it, but he already got the NAR before that, so
Yeah,
I knew he definitely had potential.
Colin was up there in the top 10 cubers, but I wouldn't have placed him as the next person to get the world record. I mean, obviously everyone was thinking Felix would do it.
Yeah.
But
Here's the thing, though. A lot of people that people don't know are getting fast now.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at my sub box today, and Jacob Keeper uploaded a 6.75 average of 5 on 3x3. Nobody knows who Jacob Keeper is.
I haven't heard of him.
But he's really fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are up there with the potential to get the world record. Like, when Felix was breaking those world records, when he broke the 7.08, basically Felix was just on a string of breaking world records left, right, and center. Because he was so much faster than everyone else. But now, everybody else is catching up to Felix. And so we have a bunch of other people who have the potential to get world records and have gotten world records. Like Colin, Keaton, Lucas, all of those people. So Colin broke that world record. There was a big reaction from the community, as you might expect.
If anyone's seen the video...
Yeah, there was also a big reaction from the people at the competition. Particularly one little girl, I do not know. Yeah, who didn't know how annoying they were being. They were being very annoying. That was kind of an embodiment of what the reaction from the community was, just in a kind of more civilized manner. This 5.55 5.55 had stood for a long time. Like, the entire time that I had spent cubing, 5.55 was the world record.
Yep, same.
Once it was broken by the 5.25. It was a big deal, because there was a lot of cubers around, myself and Reese and Bryce, I think, as well, included,
Yeah.
who hadn't gotten a 3x3 single world record before. There was a lot of press coverage, because there hadn't been a world record like that. Every newspaper who existed went out and wrote something about it.
And my favourite one is still the one where it's like, oh, he decided to get up in math class and attempt to solve the Rubik's Cube and managed to get a world record while doing it or something like that. It was so not right that it was hilarious.
I think it was the Vox that did a video.
Oh, that one's really good.
Yeah.
That one's actually decent.
How a 15-year-old solved a Rubik's Cube in 5.25 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. That is actually so good.
Yeah, it's a very well-made video. It has 1.5 million views, which is nearly as much as the actual world record video has, actually. So there was a lot of press coverage like this. Some of it better than others.
Yeah, like, how did they decide that he was in the middle of a math class and just one day just decided to go, I want to solve the Rubik's Cube?
So that's the first big event I have listed. And possibly the biggest of the entire year.
Yeah.
Next thing I have listed here. I've tried to list these in chronological order, although I might have gotten some of it wrong. So this is just vague chronological order. Next one that I have here is Felix Zemdegs winning World Championships 2015. Everyone saw that coming, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He and Mats Volk were basically the only people with the potential to do it. And if history was anything to go by, then Felix would win.
And you got like 5 sub-5s, sub-6s that competition or something ridiculous.
This was the first time that a single person had won 2 world championships in a row. And I think 2 world championships just ever. I could be wrong though. If anyone knows, please leave a comment in the speed serving thread. He won 3x3. As well as winning 3x3, he won 4x4, 5x5, and one-handed. Which everyone kind of thought would happen. I mean, there was a bit more competition going there, but him winning those wasn't any big surprise. He also won 2x2, which was a big surprise, actually.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, Faz is actually decent at 2x2. He's just inconsistent. He's got like a 1.88 average or something like that.
Jaden McNeil was also at this competition, who basically every time Felix and Jaden are at the same competition and doing 2x2, Jaden wins. This time he didn't. And there also... Was Chris Olsen there?
No.
No, he wasn't. But there are a lot of other people who had the potential.
Also, Jay came third in Scube.
Yeah, another big thing at Worlds. Jaden McNeil, who everyone thought would win Scube, didn't. There's a lot of crazy things that happened at Worlds, actually. Did you guys get up to watch Worlds when it was on?
No, I didn't watch it.
The TV?
No, not at the live stream.
Oh, the live stream. Apparently got some coverage on TV as well.
Did you watch the live stream?
No.
I got up on the 3rd day. I watched the finals on the 3rd day. I got up at like 1 a.m. at whatever the time was. It was very entertaining, actually. That's Worlds. Next thing I'm moving on to, Stephen Brundage. Do you guys know Stephen Brundage?
I do know Stephen Brundage.
I'm going to guess Bryce doesn't know Stephen Brundage. Would I be correct in saying that?
You are correct.
I'm a big fan of Penn and Teller, so I
Yeah.
know all about this.
Stephen Brundage was... He describes himself as a Rubik's Cube magician, I guess. He does a variety of tricks using the Rubik's Cube. One of the... I guess his kind of claim to fame was this year. He got out of a speeding ticket by doing Rubik's Cube magic.
I remember that. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, that went viral. And so that kind of kick-started his career, which eventually led up to him this year going on the Penn and Teller Fool Us show, I think. I've never watched this TV show. Can you tell me more about it?
Essentially, if you don't know what it is, competitors try and go onto the show where obviously they get judged by Penn and Teller, who are 2 of probably the greatest magicians of all time. And they perform their trick, and Penn and Teller try and work out how it was done. If they work out how it was done, then you go home. If they don't know and you fooled them, then you get a huge trophy and a lot of money.
Stephen Brundage did fool Penn and Teller with his Rubik's Cube magic. If you haven't seen this video, you really should. The video of Stephen Brundage at Penn and Teller. I'll leave it in the show notes. It's really worth watching.
I worked out most of them because it was pretty obvious that he was just doing one-handed kind of...
There are a couple of them that you could figure out if you're a cuber, but a couple of them fooled me. Like that.
Like, the one he takes the super flip, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it just solves.
Yeah.
That one completely confused me.
No, that one, okay. What he did with that one, I don't know if this is a good magician's etiquette to talk about how people did tricks, but god damn it, it's our podcast. What he did with that one, he super flipped 3 sides, and then the other 3 sides were solved. So this was like a trick cube, the stickers were placed differently.
Okay.
And so then he showed you those 3 sides that were mixed up and said, look, this is all mixed up. And then he flipped it over to the 3 sides that were solved, so that you could only see those 3 sides.
I thought it was the same cube he was using before, though.
It could have been. I don't know. Somebody explain.
It still looks good. It's a good
Yes.
good thing.
That paper bag trick that he did really got me. It's like...
The paper bag one where he took it out. It was obviously just like while he was pulling it out, he did it really slowly. So obviously it was just kind of doing subtle one-handed in the bag and then just pulls it out.
Was he? Was he though?
Yeah, it makes sense as well because like he was using an Aurora, I think, which is a cube that generally doesn't make a lot of noise when you turn it.
So it's been a really good year for Stephen Brundage. He's gotten a lot of press, and is this his career? Does he do this? Is this full-time job?
Rubik's Cube Magic. No, he's a magician, but he does make a bit of money off, I think, a DVD that he made.
It's pretty cool.
Next thing we're gonna go over is a sad tale of a big Rubik's Cube. Would you like to go over this, Reese?
Yep. Essentially, Corin Puzzle, who's kind of a YouTube figure for cubing, decided one day to make his own 22 by 22 Rubik's Cube. I didn't actually find out about this. My parents did before I did.
Yeah, same.
But he 3D printed this 22 by 22, obviously, because it's not like he could get it mass-produced or anything. And then it would have been the biggest ever proportional cube ever constructed by 5 layers. And then he did this huge live stream for like an hour and a bit, where he constructed this whole thing. And then at the end, he tried to do a turn, and, well...
I'm experiencing massive piece separation.
Yeah, and then, boom.
Massive piece separation.
Rip 22 by 22.
I actually saw this on the news and I couldn't stop laughing. It was the funniest thing.
You're so mean. You're terrible, Russ. I mean, seriously, the amount of time and effort he put into this thing, it's kind of sad to see it all go.
Yeah.
And then
In an explosion.
And then he decided to reassemble it again, and turn it again, and it exploded again.
He's a good sport about it, though. He wasn't, like, bitter.
Yeah.
He did get a lot of views, though. He got, like, hang on, I'm gonna check.
2 million.
2 million views. Not bad at all, if that's any consolation. Yeah, because no doubt it would have gotten less views if it didn't explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would have been the biggest cube ever constructed after the 17 by 17. Which is, that's a massive difference. Again, going back to the square cube law. How many more pieces are there in a 22 by 22 than a 17 by 17? A lot. There's a lot more pieces.
Many more.
That's a sad note to end our 2015 wrap-up.
Yeah.
I think now we should do predictions. Cubing predictions for 2016. So I have a couple questions listed here. First question. What will the world record single for 3x3 be at the end of 2016? What do you think, Reese?
4.41 by Martin Telesforo.
By who?
Martin Telesforo.
I haven't heard of that person.
Oh my
bad
god,
person.
you haven't heard of that? He was
Hang
the
on.
guy who tried to fake the 4
Oh,
ages ago. Who claimed he had like a triple
damn
X
it.
cross R U R prime then J perm.
Yeah. I remember that. Serious answer, though. What do you think? What do you think and who?
Low 4.
Low 4? Like below 4.5?
Yeah, and
Really?
I'm just gonna say Faz because he's got a better chance than anybody.
What do you think, Bryce?
I don't know. I'm gonna say, I reckon they could break 4.7. And I don't know who, but
I think below 4.5 is a little generous. I don't think we'll get below 4.5. Somewhere between 4.5 and 4.9, possibly higher than that. I reckon we're talking 4.7, 4.8. I don't know who by. Someone. Which events, if any, will be added or removed to the WCA?
I reckon any are going to be added to the WCA. If they were going to be, they would have done it in January. So, as for plans to get cubes into the WCA, I reckon that it would be pretty nice to start seeing some cuboids in there.
I agree.
You'd like to see cuboids added? Which cuboid do you think?
3x3x4, I would say. Be pretty
Really?
good. Yeah.
I was thinking by 5. I think
Oh,
if any
maybe.
cuboid was to be added, I'd say 3x3x5.
Yeah, or Void Cube, because you gotta think, it kind of has parity, which screws people up, but people are starting to make, like, speed Void Cubes. I don't know if you know Ben Puzzles on YouTube. He gave one to Mitch Lane, and Mitch got, like, a 9 on a Void Cube, because he designed the speed Void Cube, which, like, cut corners and everything.
I don't think that's a good idea to enter in competition because, if anything, it's based on luck if you get the parity or not. Because, like, otherwise it's just solving, like, a 3x3. And it would be unfair.
Is it unfair, though? It's not unfair, because everybody has the exact same chance of getting parity. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's not like one person can get parity and another person cannot. Everybody has the exact same chances and opportunities to get parity.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And all of that is also true for 4x4 parity and 6x6 parity,
Square one.
edge parity, all that. Yeah, square one.
Yeah, true.
That's not a very... I wouldn't think that's a very convincing reason not to add it. Although, I don't know. I just don't think cuboids will be added.
I feel like our events are kind of enough for now. Also,
Yeah.
some bigger cube blindfolded would be interesting, because you see people like Roman
6
Struggle,
blind.
who's done like 9 blind at home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And did like a 9 blind in 1 hour 45.
The market for that's very small, though. How many people worldwide have done a 6x6 blind? Like, 20?
I know somebody in Australia has done one. You know, Brockhaman.
That's
did
one person in the entire continent, though. Like, it's the market for that would be very small. I like the amount of people who would do 6x6 blind is so small as, like, it's not worth adding it.
Still, if they're gonna add any event, they might as well add big blinds.
I don't know. I think what cubes will be. I can't think of any cube that we added, honestly. Like, there is a lot of WCA puzzles already. I don't think if I would say that I do not think any cubes are going to be added to the WCA. I also don't think anything will be removed, but if anything is going to be removed, it's obviously going to be feet, because
God damn it, I actually like feet.
I know, but I'm saying that if something were to be removed, it would be feet.
I actually tried solving a 2x2 with feet like about a week ago or so, and I just gave up after about 3 moves. I was just like, screw this.
I have a feet PB of 429 or something like that. It's actually pretty fun once you get used to it. But if you can remove anything, remove clock.
But I don't think any of those will be actually removed.
Yeah.
I don't think any event will be added or removed. We can be optimistic about I would like cuboids, but I don't know if any of that will be happening.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of events already. Largest cube. What do you think the largest cube ever produced is? Because we've got the 15x15 being mass-produced, and the 22x22 being 3D printed, almost.
So mass-produced or normal?
Both. Like, what do you think the largest cube ever produced, period, is?
Yeah, I reckon 15x15 and 22x22 is going to give it another try. But I honestly have no idea.
I reckon they'll take it by steps and try and produce the 17x17.
Yeah, that's the next logical step. The next largest mass-produced cube would have to be the 17x17.
This makes no sense. Like, the way Moyu
doesn't it?
releases their cubes is so silly. It's like, they have no 8x8, no 9x9, no 10x10, no 11x11, no 12x12, just a 13x13. No 14x14 and no 16x16. It's like, just doesn't make sense. Also, the order they released in the cubic puzzles, how did they release them? They released like 3, 2, 4, 7, 5, 6, or something like that.
What you said before with no 14x14 and no 16x16, would you do you want to create a 16x16? Oh.
No.
The reason they don't do that, okay, here we go. The reason they don't do that is because of the way that cubes are constructed.
Yeah,
Odd number
I know
cubes
internals are annoying.
Well, that's the reason they don't make... I mean, even a 12x12 would be... A 12x12 does... A mass-produced 12x12 does exist, doesn't it?
Not that I've heard of.
No? Isn't there a Shengxiao 12x12?
No.
Am I wrong here?
Shengxiao only went up to 10x10.
So, largest cube mass-produced, you think will still be the 15x15?
Yeah.
And largest cube ever produced will be a 22x22. Really?
I reckon he'll give it another go.
I don't know. He seemed pretty defeated after that pop. And finally, how many episodes of The Cubing Show will there be?
In 2016.
At the end of 2016.
12.
12. Altogether. Okay. Optimistic.
Altogether, how many have we done so far? This is like the 6th. I'm gonna go 20.
I think that's a bit low.
It would be nice if we could get... Yeah, I reckon it would be good if we could get 20.
20?
Because that's about one every 2 and a bit weeks.
Okay, I reckon we're going to get closer to 30. That's my prediction. We're totally going to forget to come back to this next year if the Cubing Show is still going even. What are our predictions? Reese says 20. Bryce says 20. I say 30.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Cubing Show. If you liked it, go onto iTunes. If you're listening on your phone, go onto iTunes. And go onto our podcast. Give it a big old rating. Give it 5 stars. We'd appreciate that. Helps people discover the show. If you have any feedback, if you have any comments on what we've talked about, you can go to the speed solving thread and drop your comment there. Or you can email us, thecubingshow@gmail.com. That's our email. Have any comments? Send it right there. Fire up your email client. We do read all the messages. Thank you for listening. And goodbye.
See ya. Alright, do we talk about Star Wars now, or...?
Yeah, we're totally talking about Star Wars. Bryce, get out.
Alright, bye.
He's gone.
Yay.
Okay, listeners, it's just Reese and I here now. We've gotten Bryce out. We are going to be talking about Star Wars. Star Wars The Force Awakens.
If you don't want to know anything, just leave now.
Yeah, there are going to be spoilers for Star Wars The Force Awakens. So, if you do not want spoilers, please leave now. Do we need to have a sound to warn people? One of my favourite podcasts, The Incomparable, has what they call the spoiler horn, which is a boat horn that goes off.
Oh, God. Air horn.
Yeah, spoiler air horn. There we go. If you listen to last episode, you'll know that I tried to go into this as spoiler-free as possible. Now, did I succeed? I'm going to tell you what happened. One of my favourite podcasts, called Hello Internet, released an episode called Star Wars Christmas Special. And because I love this podcast...
Wait, okay, keep talking.
Oh yeah, not the actual Star Wars Christmas Special, because I hear that's kind of bad.
The holiday special, where Han Solo attempts to get Chewbacca back to Wookiee planet to celebrate Life Day.
Yeah.
That one.
Not that. The title of this podcast was Star Wars Christmas Special.
Oh, okay.
And because this is my favourite podcast, I decided I'd just listen to the start of it, which is very entertaining. And I got a little too ambitious, and I heard the line from Brady, "Obviously, a very major character dies in this film." I paused the podcast, and I was really questioning my emotions about what I was feeling. So I had the spoiler. I had purposely avoided everything about... Like, in hindsight, it seems like such a insignificant spoiler. Like, well, he didn't say who dies.
Exactly.
But when it was said, it actually affected me quite emotionally. I was like, what do I do now? How do I reconcile this? But I just dealt with it. I knew that a major character was dying. And basically, as soon as I walked into 20 minutes into the movie, I knew it was going to be Han.
Yeah, it was I didn't really see it coming, to be honest.
I mean, which other character is going to die? They're not going to kill... I mean, can you really kill a robot? Really?
Well, R2-D2 had seen some better days at the start of the movie, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, so R2 was in, hibernation state or something, so it wasn't going to be him. C-3PO, I don't know, not really C-3PO. And they're not going to kill the new characters. They're not going to kill Rey or Finn or...
Well, Finn died, didn't he?
Finn, no, he didn't die.
He got hurt, though, pretty badly.
From who?
From Kylo Ren. In the battle on, the ice.
Yeah, at the end, they Rey brought his body back on the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
and so they brought him back to life. In the end, when Rey, kisses him on the forehead.
Yeah.
If he's not dead, he's, in a coma. He's definitely not dead.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the term major character, I mean, I pretty much knew. We didn't see Luke Skywalker until, the last 20 seconds of the film, which I have thoughts about. We'll get to it. And Princess Leia was not really in the action, so you knew. Basically, that eliminated everybody except Han and maybe Chewbacca. But So I kind of knew Han was dying, which did kind of make the movie experience a bit worse for me.
Also, the jump scares in this movie, my god.
The jump scares? Which jump scare?
Like, for example, the moment when she touches Luke's sword for the first time, and she gets, like, all these flashbacks.
Oh, yeah, that.
Oh god, there's the worst jump scare.
Yeah.
Oh god. Because you could see it was coming, but it was just like, no.
What were your overall impressions of this movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I loved it. I think did a really good job of bringing something new while paying tribute to, like, the old films.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely a decent storyline, and it was quite resemblant of A New Hope, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
The storyline's pretty much the exact same.
No one can deny the storyline of the big circly death thing that they have to destroy by flying ships into the special area.
It's so similar that it kind of feels like the same movie, but it isn't. I mean, really, it's very different.
Yeah.
But it still kind of follows the same path.
What do you think the epicest moments of the film were?
The epicest probably is either, like, the fight scene at the beginning or the fight scene where, like, Rey's on the cliff with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was, edge of the seat stuff.
I found, for me, the most, I don't know if epic's the word, but a very good moment in the film was when Rey and Finn are running away from the First Order shooting them from the sky.
Yeah.
And then, so they're running to this ship, and they say, Finn says, he points to the right, and he says, "Why don't we catch that ship?" And Rey says, "That ship's garbage." Then the ship that they're running to gets blown up. And so they turn to the ship, and it's the Millennium Falcon. And I thought, this is amazing. That is an amazing moment. I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but I just love that moment.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, in the fight, again, massive spoilers. I mean, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie yet, seriously, just I don't know what's wrong with your life. I don't know what would make you choose to spoil this amazing movie by listening to us. Seriously, if you haven't watched this movie, turn the podcast off right now.
Yeah.
But another great scene at the end, in the final fight scene with Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren, when Rey used the Force to get Luke's lightsaber.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's like everyone thinks she's a Jedi, isn't she? I mean, she.
Yeah. And the part where she's in the chair with the stormtrooper, and she's like,
Yeah.
Release my robes and open the door. And the stormtrooper's like, no. And she's like, release my robes and open the door. And the stormtrooper's like, no. And then she's like, release my robes and open the door. And the stormtrooper just like gets rid of her robes, opens the door, and then just walks out and
drops his weapon.
Drop your weapon, and he just drops his weapon. That moment was just classic.
That's obviously very resemblant of the "these aren't the droids you're looking for" moment in when Obi-Wan says that in A New Hope. Again, one of many similarities between this movie and A New Hope.
Yeah. That was probably the best part of the movie. That was hilarious.
Yeah. I guess we'll go through the movie scene by scene, and then we'll talk about some of the characters.
Yeah.
So, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And then you have the pause, and the black screen, and the pause.
Oh my god, and it's so loud in this one.
Yeah,
like, it's ridiculously loud.
And the orchestra oh my god, it was amazing. We're not old people. So this would be the first Star Wars movie you've seen in the cinema, correct?
Yeah.
Like, that's, I don't know, that's a moment that the younger generation, us included, would never have seen. That loud, confident, amazing opening in the cinema with all of the sound systems.
Yeah.
So then we have the title scroll. Luke Skywalker's missing, blah, blah, blah. No talk of trade federations or whatever.
Yeah.
We're on a planet which we learn is named Jakku, I think, which is very resemblant to Tatooine. And we see BB-8, the new droid, who's adorable as hell. Oh my god.
Yeah.
A character that is later revealed, his name is Poe Dameron,
Yeah.
is given something in a bag, which we later learn is a map to Luke Skywalker.
Well, part of it.
Part of a map, yeah. And then once these stormtroopers come, Poe Dameron's worried, obviously, because he's like, I have this really valuable equipment. If the First Order gets this, First Order, they're evil people, basically. If the First Order gets this, then they'll find Luke Skywalker and he'll be dead and he's the last Jedi. Oh no, the First Order can't get this. So he gives this to BB-8, the droid, and tells BB-8 to get the hell away, basically.
Yeah.
They gather all of the villagers in this village.
Yeah.
And they gather them together and they get the stormtroopers. Okay, it was really cool when... Was it Poe who tried to shoot Kylo Ren?
Possibly.
And then Kylo turns around and uses the Force to stop the blaster in midair.
Yeah.
Isn't that... Oh my god, it was so cool. It had the little sparks flying everywhere.
Looked like a lightning bolt or something in progress.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
It was amazingly cool. Blah, blah, blah. All of the townspeople get killed and Poe is kidnapped. He's brought onto the ship. Finn is a stormtrooper.
But he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be a stormtrooper.
But then he gets scolded for taking off his helmet, etc., etc.
Yeah. Finn then decides that he is going to rescue Poe from captivity.
Yep.
And there's this cool scene where they're talking to each other. Poe says to Finn, "Why are you rescuing me?" And Finn says, "Because it's the right thing to do." And then Poe says, "You need a pilot, don't you?" And Finn's like, yeah, I need a pilot. It kind of builds character. There's a lot of character building, something completely absent from the prequels. There's a lot of character building in this film. Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can tell that Finn is still a stormtrooper. Like, there is an ulterior motive. He's not just doing this because it's the right thing to do. He is doing this because he gets something out of it.
Yeah.
But he's still a good person. Like,
yeah.
that kind of character building.
Anyway, then it cuts to Rey, and Rey's kind of scavenging around for parts to sell in in her little village on Jakku. And she's in like this huge like old abandoned ship, and when I mean huge, I mean like massive.
This is our introduction to Rey as a character.
Yeah, and she takes it back into this like huge dodgy guy, and the dodgy guy's like, that's worth half a portion or something like that.
Yeah, can we go back a bit to like, in that, so what Rey's doing in the ship is she's scavenging for parts. The idea is that she is looking for parts that she can then sell to get food.
Yeah.
So she's gotten these parts and she's put them in her little rucksack.
Yeah.
And then she exits the giant crashed ship.
Yeah.
And she slides down this sand dune.
Yeah.
On something that looks like, kind of like a dinner tray, but it's obviously not a dinner tray. And then they play this music in the background. And that was a very good scene as well. With John Williams did all the music for this.
Yep, as usual.
And that song in the background. It was a very, it's kind of like Rey's theme. It was very good. I did like that moment. I very much like Rey as a character.
Yeah. Then she meets BB-8. BB-8's like confused and everything. She's like, oh, that way's to the village, and BB-8's like a puppy and just stays with her the whole time. So she goes to this village, and of course everybody from the First Order is just trying to look for this droid because they know.
Yeah, it has the map to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and then people find out it's there, and then Finn, after crashing his ship after escaping with Poe, makes his way to this village, and essentially they bump into each other, and then the First Order comes down and tries to catch them, and they escape to the Millennium Falcon, essentially.
So they get on the Millennium Falcon. And then, this is another... There's so many amazing scenes in this film.
Yeah.
Rey, who hasn't piloted a ship before, is trying to figure out how to fly the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And they kind of show her, like, thumping it around, crashing it everywhere, trying to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
She eventually does, and she starts flying away. Finn says, stay low. If you go high, they're gonna catch us. And then they have this amazing chase scene between like, a bunch of TIE fighters, like 3 or 4 TIE fighters.
Yep.
And the Millennium Falcon, which was done very well. I loved the way the Millennium Falcon moved. I love the TIE fighters and how they blew up some of the TIE fighters.
Yeah. And then, essentially, they're in the middle of space, just traveling to places and stuff. And then, all of a sudden, the ship's not working, doors open, and there's Han Solo and Chewie. And they're like...
Yeah.
And they're like, Chewie, we're home. It's like,
Again, another amazing moment in the film. We're home. And then Chewie does a little sound thing. I can't do it. I can't do a Wookiee impression.
Yeah, I can't either.
And then Han Solo and Chewie start exploring the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, and then they find Rey and Finn, and they're all like, hey, and stuff. And then essentially they're in this huge kind of like spaceport, and these people start intruding into Han Solo and Chewie, and these people kind of in an IOU situation with Han Solo. Han Solo's in debt and needs to pay them back, and of course he's just trying to get out of this situation, but they're coming at him from both sides, so he's like doomed.
Yeah, there's two groups of people who want Han Solo to pay them for something that he's done.
Yeah, and then
and Han.
This is...
I don't know what the actual situation here, if Han Solo actually needed to pay something, or if they're exaggerating, or...
Yeah, and then... This is so funny. Rey just decides to get rid of them by letting out these beasts who...
Yeah, she accidentally releases two giant monsters. And then they start attacking the two groups at the same time.
Yeah.
And then, so there's this scene where all of these people start running away from these giant monsters after a couple are eaten.
Yeah.
And then everyone's running away. Han Solo and Chewbacca and BB-8 are trying to run away. So then they're all running away, and Rey and Finn are under the air vents.
Yeah.
So they're not in any danger of being attacked.
Yeah.
I think they do come up, though. They do come up. So now everyone's trying to run away from these monsters. Han Solo punches a guy and throws him into the monster's mouth.
Yeah.
And then I have a bit of a problem with this scene. So Finn gets basically grabbed by one of these monsters. And then instead of eating Finn immediately, the monster just kind of grabs him and runs around. Like, no, he should be eaten immediately. Every other person who has been grabbed by this monster has been eaten immediately.
Old-fashioned spy movie style, where they just, like, tell everybody their plans before they kill them.
Yeah, everybody else has been killed immediately, but this monster just decides to grab Finn and run around with him. Obviously, it's to build suspense, but it doesn't make very much logical sense if every other person has been eaten, and then Finn hasn't.
Yeah, etc., etc. They manage to get the monsters back into their cages and accidentally chop off a few tentacles or two. Then they go back to the planet where Leia's at.
What planet's this? Do you know what planet this is?
No, I have no idea.
No.
Essentially, it's the planet with all the rebellion, and Leia's a general. And obviously she's married to Han Solo.
In the scene where Han and Leia are first meeting each other after years apart or something, which again, like, why has there been years where Han and Leia haven't seen each other? Aren't they together or something? Yeah. Anyway, so there's like this sentimental moment where Han and Leia are like, you know, I haven't seen you in years. And then C-3PO pops up, and he's like, hello, it's Han Solo, and you mustn't recognize me because of my red arm. And again, another funny moment when classic C-3PO. That's such a C-3PO thing to do.
Yep.
Such a Reese thing to do.
It's just such a me thing to say. Okay. But essentially, then they're trying to work out the map, and then R2-D2's in like this coma kind of a thing because Luke Skywalker is somewhere and he's sad. But he's apparently got the map in his database.
Yeah, hang on.
They just can't wake him up.
The map that BB-8 was given in the opening scene, turns out that map isn't the full map of Luke Skywalker. It's a partial map. It's like a section of the actual map.
Yeah.
And we later find out that R2-D2 has the rest of the map. But R2-D2 is in hibernation, so...
And essentially they try, now that they've got this part of the map, they try and get BB-8 back to his home country or something like that. And they walk into this bar, I think, and They like go.
Yeah, this is again similarities to the A New Hope. This is very similar to the cantina scene where. So this character who we learn is named Maz Kanata, who is very alienish and has weird glasses and looks like a carrot. Maz Kanata has this kind of catch-up scene where they talk with Han, and this is a line that I found very weird. Maz Kanata says to Han Solo, he says, "Where's my boyfriend? I like that Wookiee." This seems so out of place because like they didn't follow up on this line at all. Like there is nothing else that happens in this movie that is related to Chewbacca being Maz Kanata's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like some throwaway line.
Yeah, it's a little bit silly. Anyway,
I don't know if it'll play a role in the upcoming movies.
But anyway, then they go.
Yeah.
They go
So
downstairs.
Ray finds this strange calling thing going on downstairs.
Yeah.
So Ray decides to go downstairs. She keeps going, weird calling. She finds a box. It's really silent.
Yeah.
She opens the box. There's a lightsaber there. She goes to touch it.
And then boom.
Yeah, and then there's this weird flashback scene that's like happens really fast. It's like boom, boom, boom. There's R2-D2 and he's alive, and is that Luke Skywalker? Wait, is that Kylo Ren? Hang on, who did he just kill? Was that Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of these old characters that just flash by like that, and then you're like, is this actually part of the movie? Is this actually happening? Is this like when Harry Potter dreams and it's actually happening, or is this just...
Yeah.
What is this? What is happening here?
Anyway,
And then she wakes up from that dream or something.
yeah, and then Maz Kanata's like, "It's yours now," and she's like, "Okay, cool."
I want to talk about this.
Okay.
This is I have this line. I wrote it down from my second viewing. He says, "This is Maz Kanata talking to Rey." She says, "That lightsaber was Luke's and his father's before him, and now it is calling to you."
Yeah.
Does that mean that Rey is Luke's daughter? That's what you'd think. Because if it went Anakin, then Luke, then Rey, like surely there's got to be some kind of connection between those two. We know a connection between Anakin and Luke. Obviously, they're father and son.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is another big topic about who Rey is related to. A lot of people are saying that that's too obvious. A lot of people are saying that Rey, it's too obvious that Rey would be related to Luke.
Yeah.
And that she's related to Obi-Wan or something. But really, I cannot see any other logical path that follows between Anakin, Luke, and...
Yeah, fair enough. And her father's like missing at the start of the movie, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then essentially, bloody blah, she goes outside. Oh no, now First Order are coming, and they've got tons of these spaceships. And then essentially what happens is that the rebellion just come behind them and whoop the bejesus out of them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rey faces Kylo Ren, who's like this new kind of bad guy with a mask and everything.
Rey's on her own in a forest.
Yeah.
And she's walking around. And then she hears the sound of a lightsaber. And she's like, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? And then Kylo Ren just turns around a corner. It's like, hey, Rey. Well, he doesn't say anything, obviously.
Yeah.
And he tries to use the Force to extort her into saying where the BB-8 droid is.
Yeah.
Where the droid is so he can get the map of Luke Skywalker.
She doesn't escape. She gets taken by Kylo Ren. And taken back to the, like, Death Star thing.
Yeah. Rey doesn't say where BB-8 is, I don't think. And so Kylo Ren chokes her with the Force, so she's passed out. Kylo Ren picks her up and brings her back onto the ship.
Yeah. And then everybody's sad because they're, like, gone and stuff. This is the moment where she's getting interrogated by the Kylo Ren in the face, and then...
Yeah. I have a couple things to say about this.
Okay.
Rey says something to Kylo Ren, basically. You're afraid that you'll never be as strong as Darth Vader, or something.
Yeah.
Then, I think this is when Kylo Ren removes his helmet first. So Kylo Ren's been wearing this helmet the whole time. Kylo Ren removes his helmet, and then you see his face.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that scene? Before I tell mine.
I think it's good. Makes it more, like, kind of, like, personal.
I thought that they removed the helmet too early in the film. I thought some of the mystery and dominance and all of that sort of stuff was removed once you see that there is like a kind of normal looking human under there.
I guess I could have done a little bit better way.
I think it kind of removed some of the tension there, like who's this mysterious figure under the mask, and now we know
Possibly.
it's this guy.
So she's in this kind of like discount Death Star thing now, which is much bigger than the Death Star, by the way.
It's called the Star Killer.
Yeah, it's huge. It's like the size of an actual planet.
It's because it is an actual planet.
Basically, you got the same scene as A New Hope, where they're like in discussing their plans to kind of like blow up this huge thing. Then everybody but like Leia and a couple people go. So pretty much it's all the rebellion and Finn. They go to this place, and now like Rey's on the run because she's left the building with the stormtrooper.
Yeah. Can we talk about this? Rey escaped from she was left in the room with the stormtrooper while Kylo Ren went to do something. So then Rey used the Force to make this stormtrooper unlock her, and then she had a weapon and she just walked away. When Kylo Ren comes back, there's this scene where he just flips out. He turns on his laser sword, lightsaber, and he just starts bashing everything up, swinging it everywhere. The whole room's getting destroyed from his lightsaber, and there's cuts in the wall, and there's sparks everywhere, and it's like this massive fireball.
Yeah.
And then they have a scene where outside of that room there's two stormtroopers walking by.
Yeah.
And they see all these sparks coming out, and then one of them's like, he's having one of his tantrums again.
Yeah.
You can tell this is kind of a semi-common thing, so then they just turn around and run away.
Yeah.
Again, character building moments. That's, a very good one.
Yeah. It's also kind of revealed that Kylo Ren isn't like the biggest enemy here. He is actually under the influence of another kind of higher enemy.
They have this character called Snoke. And so in the first scene where Snoke shows up, it's this massive, deformed character, kind of looks like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, sitting on this massive chair, just this huge guy.
Like he's like
20, 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the scene, they reveal that was just a projection.
Yeah.
That wasn't actually his real size, it was a projection.
Yeah.
So, again, that's a kind of funny scene where they show that he wasn't actually as dominant as he thought. Everyone's kind of assuming that when we meet Snoke in real life, like when we see his character, everyone's kind of assuming that he's going to be this tiny guy, like a Yoda height guy, and he projects himself to look massive for dominance.
They find Rey, who's like climbing on this wall of like this huge pit, like Cloud City pit in Empire Strikes Back. And they find her, and she's a...
So Finn, C-3PO, BB-8... No, is BB-8 there? No, BB-8 isn't there.
No.
So, no, it's Finn, C-3PO, Chewbacca, and Han Solo. All get onto this planet. Once they get on this planet, their aim is that they need to turn off the shields on the planet. There's like this invisible shield thing on the planet, and they need to turn that off so that then a fleet of X-Wings can come in and blow up the planet.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. They enter the building, and they find... What's this character's name? The big, kind of Boba Fett-like...
I don't know.
Yeah, there's this woman who's in a stormtrooper-looking suit, but it's dark, like titanium.
She's like the leader, kind of
the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
They take her captive.
Yeah.
And then they bring her to a room and say, turn off the shields or we're going to shoot you.
Yeah.
She turns off the shields and then they throw her in a garbage chute.
Yep. Very, very, very resemblant of New Hope again, when when Luke and the other people go down the garbage chute.
So then those are turned off. They then find Rey climbing the walls.
Yeah.
And they get Rey. They find Rey. They rescue Rey from like she's on her own and she's kind of avoiding all the stormtroopers at all cost.
Yeah.
They find her. They bring her into their group. Then we go into the sad scene.
Yeah, where
the very sad scene.
Essentially, Han Solo and Chewie have planted the bombs, but then Kylo Ren finds...
Yeah, they're in this building. They see Kylo Ren is walking around this building on a bridge.
Yeah.
And this is in the main reactor room.
Yeah.
Han and Chewbacca have these bombs, and they're trying to blow up as much of this main reactor room as they can. as they can, because then it'll make it easier for the X-Wings to blow up the planet.
It's revealed earlier in the film that Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son.
And Leia's.
And Leia's, of course. They meet up and they're like, hey, and everything, and then they're all like hugging, and then like Han Solo's like, come to the rebellion, and he's like, yeah, okay, just for you. And then, bam, sword straight through him.
Kylo Ren has a lightsaber pointed through his chest. Kylo Ren activates the lightsaber, I guess.
Yeah.
And Han Solo gets a sword through the chest. Not very pleasant.
No.
He dies and he gets chucked off into a giant pit below.
Yeah.
Chewbacca is then filled with rage and gets his little crossbow blaster thing.
Yeah.
And shoots it directly in the chest of Kylo Ren, not killing him but injuring him.
Yeah.
Chewbacca blows up all these bombs in the reactor room.
Yeah.
And we kind of don't see what happens to Chewbacca, but then they cut to a scene of Kylo Ren is in the forest.
Yeah.
He's in the forest with Rey and Finn.
Yeah.
It's a dark forest. It's, it's kind of eerie, and Kylo Ren turns up with his lightsaber. Finn has his lightsaber.
Yeah.
And they have this kind of duel.
And then Finn just is weak.
I need to comment about this here. So there's been a lot of criticism of this scene, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically saying, look at Kylo Ren. He's this... he's trained with a lightsaber. He's been using a lightsaber for presumably a long time. He's very trained with it.
Yeah.
How can Finn hold his ground at all for like 3 seconds against Kylo Ren when Finn has like used a lightsaber twice before?
Yeah.
And he's fighting against this ultra skilled guy.
Yeah.
Who has blades on the end of his sword, and like how can he even survive for 2 seconds without being chopped to pieces? Previously in the movie, as we just mentioned, Chewbacca had shot Kylo Ren, presumably making him weaker, because being shot doesn't make you stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically the only justification you could have for it, that Kylo Ren was injured, and so he was less skilled in combat, and so that's how Finn could hold his ground. Anyway,
long story short, he gets injured really, really quickly. Like, he just gets flung against this tree and falls down. And then Rey gets in this lightsaber battle with Hang
on, can we talk about how... So, Finn's on the ground, kind of dead, but not really. Finn's lightsaber, which is Luke's, is in the snow about 10 meters away from Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
So Kylo Ren, in a scene very reminiscent from the start of Empire, tries to pull the lightsaber out of the ground, out of the snow with the Force.
Yeah.
And it starts jiggling, again, like Empire.
Yeah.
And then it gets lifted out of the ground and starts flying towards Kylo Ren. And then it just passes Kylo Ren straight to yeah, we talked about this at the start of the section. Goes straight to Rey. And so you can see, like, Rey was the one using the Force there.
Yeah.
Rey can use the Force. Rey can be trained as a Jedi.
Yeah. And then it's just this huge, ginormous battle against this cliff.
Yeah, the planet starts to separate. Okay, so what's happened is all of those X-Wings have been successful in blowing up the reactor room. So the planet is starting to blow up. So you can see, like, what happens is the ground starts separating and everything's shaking and all of that while this fight is going on.
Yeah.
And so during this fight, Rey is pushed to the edge of one of these crevices that have been formed in the earth.
Yeah.
When she's like being pushed there by the lightsaber, she uses the Force to somehow... I didn't really... Even on the second viewing of this movie, I've seen this movie twice.
Yeah.
I didn't really see what happened there. It just kind of like... It was a blur, and then she was out of there.
Mm.
Yeah, so Rey pushes Kylo Ren to the ground.
Yeah.
Eventually. Did she, like, cuts off part of his leg or something?
I don't know.
And so Kylo Ren's on the ground, helpless. He doesn't have a lightsaber. Then Rey's just, like, circling around him.
Yeah.
With the lightsaber. And then eventually the Earth separates them.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, I guess kind of a cheap movie thing.
Yeah, I guess.
But it's good that they kept him alive, because Kylo Ren was a good character, and I'd be interested in seeing him in upcoming films.
Yeah, and then there's a cliff between them, and then, long story short, she goes back to the ship.
Chewbacca flies up. Chewbacca comes out of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And picks up Finn's kind of dead but not really body.
Yeah.
And then everyone goes onto the ship and they fly away while the planet explodes with all the X-Wings.
And then they're back to their home planet thing. R2-D2 is suddenly awake, and he decides to give them the data. So they find this map.
They find the map that the chip that BB-8 had. The rest of the map. So they see all of this map to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, they put it together. They send him off to this weird planet thing, which kind of looks like Scotland. And then they... I don't know, apparently droids...
Rey flies off to this planet. It's kind of ambiguous as to where she's going, but we eventually learn that's where Luke is.
Yeah, and then apparently droids can't walk up steps, so she's the one to walk up these
Rey's
steps.
walking up this mountain on an island on a strange planet. And then she sees the silhouette of Mark Hamill there.
Yeah.
She walks up to him, and she's like 5 meters away from him. And then she pulls out Luke's lightsaber. And then offers it to him. And in this kind of cool-ish scene, Luke turns around and takes off his hood. And then you see his decrepit old white bearded self.
Yeah. And then the movie ends. The end.
No, the movie doesn't end, okay? There's another scene here which I really wish didn't exist.
Okay.
There's a helicopter shot. Okay, so they're kind of positioned on this where Rey's holding out the lightsaber for Luke.
Yeah.
And it's been going on for a while. And then they cut to a helicopter shot of a helicopter flying around this island. And then Rey's just standing there holding her arm out.
Yep.
And Luke's standing there looking all old and stuff. I really didn't like the helicopter shot. I really didn't. Because the holding out the hand thing was already going on for a long time. And now this scene just added extra... I don't know. Did you like the scene? I really didn't like it.
I didn't mind it, but...
And then roll credits.
That took a while. Let's just talk about some stuff quickly. Firstly, Wilhelm scream.
Yeah. There's in the scene where Poe and Finn are first escaping from the First Order. There's a part where they shoot they shoot a stormtrooper with the TIE fighter.
Yep.
And there's a Wilhelm scream.
Yep.
It's very subtle and it's very quiet, but I did hear it both times. And both times I was like, come on. Really? I really do not like Wilhelm screams. Is it like a joke with audio engineers? I don't know, but I don't know. I just think the movie would have been a lot better if there wasn't that Wilhelm scream there. However subtle. So episode 8 is going to be coming out in 2 years. Are you going to go in spoiler-free for episode 8?
Heck yes, yeah.
Heck yeah? You're not going to watch any of the trailers? What do you mean by spoiler-free? No trailers?
Yeah, no trailers, no nothing.
Okay.
I don't listen to podcasts, so...
I'm going to try and avoid all spoilers as possible. I tried that this time. Didn't work. Oh well. I'm already very excited for episode 8.
Yep.
Even though it's only a year away from the first trailer, which I won't be watching.
The end.
The end. Thank you for listening to The Star Wars Show.